one, go.
Hey, Nerdy News, and I'm your host, Russ Rollins, with Ryan Holmes. Ryan Holmes, what do you got to say?
Yes, boom, boom, ka-choom, baby.
I'm kidding. He's got to go get water. Jeff Kaufman, of course, is with the Nerdy News and every week, and you know all the nerdy stuff. You're like the nerdy man. We're just want to be.
I know enough nerdy stuff. It's the names that screw with me all the time. I'm never good with names, and I always for people know. Oh yeah, we got a new monster. It's fantastic. I got it out of the machine. I paid $1. Oh well, I'm sponsoring them to be here.
Right. Yeah. Because our thing is, okay, we do the show, the Monsters in the Morning, and then you're usually waiting in the office for us. And today you were sleeping.
Well, I always get like 30 minutes.
That's
you know
good,
what
though.
you don't know is sometimes you get in a little later. It just so happens I heard somebody bust open the door.
Yeah.
And suddenly you were there with meatballs.
Yes, from the meatball stop, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
But that's the one time I think that you have to rest in the day, because I kind of pay attention to what you do, and you're always doing something. But because of just the way the circumstances, the way when you come in on the show, you're kind of forced to sit in that office by yourself for an hour, and I really think that is your Zen time.
It's what happens is I'll be for example, I won't get home tonight till about 10.
No.
So today will be a 5:30 in the morning to like 10 p.m.
I would want to be an attorney so I could work less. I would want to be an attorney so I could be a millionaire, and you never have to go to work. You just show up and you smile and you say, do this, do that, and go home and
like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Excellent, Smithers.
It's not like that, huh?
No. It's you know me. I do too much.
You do a lot.
I do too much.
But so obviously the reason we're doing the Nerdy News is because you have a comic book company, and it's called Big City Comics. It's bigcitycomics.com if you want to get any of the great graphic novels that Jeff has written. And we have written a comic together called Jolly Jane. And now we are in the it's the second book. It's a second graphic novel, and it's going pretty good.
I mean,
oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. Let's try that.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens is, we finished issues 1 through 4, so volume 1 is done.
Yeah.
We're working on volume 2. Volume 1 was ridiculously received so well.
Yeah.
That we loved it. That we're going directly into the second one. I was at Spooky Empire meeting with a couple people, and I met one of our old cover artists, Tim Edwards, and talked to him about a possibility of doing a cover for us.
Oh,
again.
good.
And just, it's always funny when you work with artists over things, and that if things don't go perfect or things don't go right, as long as you maintain that good relationship, there's always a chance to do more in the future.
Right.
It's people who lose their mind and think everything has to be perfect and treat people like crap, that it doesn't work out. And in this industry with comic books, it takes a long time to figure out the balance, how to work with artists. Like I consider myself a creator. The problem is being the publisher too, and I have to worry about deadlines and getting the book done and making sure artists do their job and everything else, which is not part of the creative process. It's part of the pull all the hair you have left in your head out process.
Right.
And I've given you the benefit of not having to deal with that.
But I've seen you deal with that, and I know what you are dealing with. And but now the artist that is doing this second volume, AJ, really good.
Yeah, AJ's solid. I think he's on page 11 or 12 now.
Okay.
The good part about it is we got.
So we're far enough ahead then. If he's
we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
We have for Comic-Con next year. I know that was interesting for you. I mean, this is the thing about when you're a celebrity in a certain area.
Comic-Con in Orlando. Yeah.
No, that's MegaCon. I'm talking the Super Bowl in San Diego.
Oh, we went to San Diego. Yeah.
Now, your experience at San Diego was a little different because, in San Diego, you're a very small fish in a monster.
Correct.
Thing. And when we do a convention in Orlando, we're like big dogs here. We're like, hey,
I've been in this market for 27 years, so people know who I am. Yeah.
And people are always like coming over. Oh, yeah, I love you. Everything else.
Yeah.
And San Diego, they don't love you as much.
And I did have a lot of people come by and say hi. I had about 50 or so.
We had.
But you're right. The difference is amazing. And MegaCon in San Diego, Comic-Con in San Diego is
how sad can it make you?
So big.
You sit there and you're just going. You hear San Diego has a roar. And it's always going on, and you're sitting there. You go, well, a lot of stuff's going on, but not a lot's going on here. And you're always wondering. It's a demoralizing thing because when you create something, you imagine the millions of people who want it, and that's not the scenario. You will always be fighting for that certain amount of attention. It can be tough.
Attention is something, man, and I think about it because when we went to San Diego, and you had what do you call him? I forget the name of what you call her, but the woman that was there that was dressed like Jolly Jane.
Kara.
She is a cosplay model.
Cosplay
Model, right? And she was there dressed as Jolly Jane, and a lot of people knew who she was. And I'm like, I have no idea who she is. Well, now I follow her on social media. She has like 2 million people that follow her on Facebook. That is crazy. And all she does is sit there and open up like boxes of stuff, and she doesn't really dress sexy or anything. And it's like all these horny guys are following her just because
send the gifts, and she opens the gifts up online.
Yeah, they send her gifts, and she opens up the gifts that they give her.
The power horny dudes, man.
And she doesn't even dress like
it's genius, though. It is genius.
I guess. I don't
think
get
about it. It's ridiculous.
She's a nice lady. Don't get me wrong, but she doesn't even
get
sex
paid
it
to
up.
put makeup. They're putting makeup on you. There are like 50 to 100 of these girls who just put makeup on and stare
crazy.
into the camera. Okay, I'm putting the blush on. I mean,
It's made me look at fame differently. It's like, okay, fame is a weird animal, because because 2 million people know who Kara is, and all she does is put on costumes and open boxes.
Yeah. And Russell, what about me?
What about you?
What about me?
Well, yeah.
Nobody. I'd kill myself putting books out, and then you see this, and then you know what? You just have to, in your head, you have to go, you know what? It's a different world out there. If you create solely for the attention or something else like that, you're going to suffer. And there are many times in the middle of a convention, I'll feel depressed. I'll get depressed in the middle of convention on a slow time when we're not selling. And I'll go, God, I worked so hard on this. It's not.
I ain't never seen you be depressed. You're talking to everybody the entire time.
You can't see it though. But there are times that I really, you start questioning why you're doing something. And a lot of small publishers and writers and artists who, will do. If you think about San Diego, that's my 15th year at San Diego.
But a lot of people
my
know who you
15th year
are.
at MegaCon, my 15th year this. You got this guy. I don't know if you remember. You weren't there for this. This guy was bragging about, oh yeah, they're picking up my thing for this show and blah blah blah.
What thing?
His product, his book.
Oh, his book. Okay.
And I want to be happy for people.
Sure.
I do, and I generally am happy until they're bragging about it.
Yeah.
Until I'm sitting there after the convention, I'm going, well, did I sell? I think we sold okay. It was a good convention. I didn't make it. Oh yeah, my stuff's going to be on HBO. F you, dude. Why stick it in your face?
So that is why you do all. Well, I think you do all this because you love the process. But you are hoping that maybe one of the books are turned into a film or a TV show or something, right? Like that.
I would love if something I created entertained somebody else.
Sure.
I mean, and I know the books do.
Yeah.
But when you get into the next level, that means you're entertaining millions and not thousands.
Yeah.
You're moving from the thousands to the millions and possibly 10 million, whoever. And that I grew up on television. I grew up this way of being influenced by all these different things. I would love to be in the position to do that and hopefully to justify that my creative stuff is worthy of being there. I think it's worthy. The question is how do you get it there?
Yeah.
So you never know with that stuff.
But Spooky Empire in Tampa was not as big as Spooky Empire in Orlando.
No. The numbers aren't the same.
Why do you think that is?
I think conventions in Tampa, the Tampa people are fantastic. I mean, I love.
No,
they're not.
They're not.
No,
Tampa people.
Stop it.
Tampa people are scuzzier. I'll be honest with you.
I'm
just
buy
telling
our
you.
books. What is wrong with you?
Well, they can buy our.
People are fantastic. Okay, I go to Ybor
You're judging
City.
it from radio alone. I know.
I'm judging radio.
Stop.
Okay, it's just
because you got to be filthy to be on radio in Tampa.
Okay. Point is this: that there are less nerdy people in Tampa than there are in
less nerdy. Yeah, they're more hardcore.
They're hardcore gamblers.
Yes.
We're not talking the old people with the slot machines.
Yeah.
Hey, Emily, I got 3 cherries.
All that live in Tampa are gamblers, Scientologists, rednecks. That's it.
And I like rednecks. Don't get me wrong. But we were on in Tampa for a little while, and the major thing they kept saying was, "You guys aren't raw enough. You're not dirty enough.
Mean enough.
And mean enough." And I'm like, "Well, we are the way we are. I'm not going to get meaner, dirtier, or whatever. That's just who we are." And it just didn't, it didn't fly. But I'm judging it from like radio side. But as far as comic books,
I've had offices in Tampa. I've been in Tampa. Tampa is it's very weird. It's like people from Tampa are like Canadians. They look like us, but they're not exactly the same.
Right.
Everything's a little weirder.
It's a little different. People come with their problems. So, they come in, they look right, and then they go, well, so I killed my sister today. What?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and there are a lot of decent people in Tampa, but Tampa has a flavor to it. That's the best way to put it. But they're not into this stuff. And yes, there are some nerdy people in Tampa, but not even close. Like MegaCon is a blowout. While if they do MegaCon in Tampa,
well, yeah, you're right. I went to the one recently when it was in Tampa. Not as good.
Dead.
Yeah,
the MegaCon in Tampa.
Yeah, we did it. We do these Geeks of Comedy shows. So we'll go to MegaCon and when it's in Orlando, great show, packed, crazy fun. The largest show I ever did was a show at MegaCon and crushed.
Yeah,
I go to Tampa to go do it, expecting the same thing. Okay, like people care less.
I will break this down for a lot of people. Ask me the difference between conventions. Okay, San Diego Comic-Con, Super Bowl, media, everything else like that.
It's
not
awesome.
A great comic book show. Not a mediocre comic book show. You know, it's more about, the celebrities are airing this, and NBC, CBS, Fox, Disney, blah, 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 blah. And then you do New York Comic-Con. New York Comic-Con is more about comic books.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah. I sell so much better.
So we sold more Jolly James there? Okay.
We did fantastic in New York City. And then we have Dragon Con, which is in Atlanta, which is a party. Dragon Con is about people coming to have a good time.
Yeah.
Yes, there are celebrities, but it's really uber geeks, cosplayers. It's
swingers in costume.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of swingers. I've heard about it, but I've heard about it, but I don't know. And MegaCon is about cosplayers, mainly cosplayers.
Yes, everybody dresses up for MegaCon in Orlando.
It's an okay comic book convention. It's greater because it's our hometown, so people hear us on the radio and they come to us. And like MegaCon, we crushed it.
I enjoyed MegaCon in Orlando last year, and I enjoyed Spooky Empire in Orlando last year. The other
we had fun too. We saw the cover Kiss Band. See, if Spooky is done right, these people are great people who are into horror and everything else. They're fun. They're collectibles. They want to have a good time. They're drinkers. You know, I like those people. Those are fantastic. But I did meet the actor from the Black Lagoon.
The creature from the Black Lagoon. And you know, if you think about it, there's not that many classic like from the 50s, whatever, guys that are still alive. Like he's about the only one.
I mean, think about Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney,
Vincent Price.
And Vincent Price. This guy. I mean, nobody knows this guy. And I felt bad because you could tell he was older. It felt like there was a Stan Lee thing going on, like later in his years that he was kind of there.
Yeah.
And I was just glad to have a picture with him and go, hey, listen, I thank you for doing it. That you are part of creating this fantastic thing.
Last year when we were at Spooky Empire, is when I saw Sig High. What's his name? The guy that was in
he died.
Yeah, he died just not too long ago. What's his name again? Sig.
He's an older. He has this real iconic face. He's been in a lot of the horror movies,
all the Rob Zombie movies.
Yep.
Yeah. And when I went before I met you, I went to go have breakfast, and there he was eating breakfast by himself, and he was so old. Poor old fella.
Sid Haig.
Having a picture with one of these guys, and I don't do pictures a lot because I kind of feel I don't know. It's not. I understand there's a life, and this is a way to make a lot of money, but for me, it has to be really important. Like I have a friend of mine. Jennifer and a guy named AJ, they go all over the country getting pictures with all the people from Avengers, and they pay $500 for a picture with one of these people. Mm-hmm. And I understand that that's a moment you're buying 10 seconds with this celebrity, and that makes sense if that's what you want to do. But I've never been like that, and it just so happens I saw this guy, and I'm going, you know what? I like a picture with this person because I know every time I think of the creature I think of this classic thing, I'll remember my 20 seconds with him. So I thought that was pretty cool. Well, let's get back more to the nerdy stuff. Terminator just came out.
Yeah.
We talked about that a little bit.
You went to see it.
I saw it. I have to. It's a requirement. They take away your nerd badge.
Okay.
A Terminator at this point? Who is clamoring for a Terminator?
It's not clamoring, but you have to go. Who's Again with the effing Star Wars. I see.
I'm with you on that, dude. I could care less about
Star
Wars.
Now we're renting out a theater. We're going to have like 150. We're going to rent out the big theater.
For Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can show up if you want to.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're coming.
You know what?
You'll find some reason not to come.
No, see, for that, here's the thing. I have to decide whether it's worth it for me to stay up late and be tired the next morning.
But it's iconic.
And for me, Star Wars, it wouldn't be worth it.
Okay.
I'd say no.
But what if we bring like 200 people? Would that be worth it? Or no? You still don't care.
I don't care. Yeah, I really don't know.
All right, Russ is officially not going. So you.
But if it was Star Trek, I'd be there. I'm a Trek guy.
All right. Well, this is an iconic movie.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to combine. My buddy owns Cosplay Deviants, so he might just bring everyone in.
Okay.
So that might be a fun thing. But I'm not really looking forward to Star Wars.
I didn't even know it was coming.
It's coming
How
in
do you
December.
not know it's coming? Every preview you see is this girl looking into the camera, looking scared.
Some girl you don't know, and all these people you don't know. There's
She
no
looks like Keira Knightley. I don't know who she is.
Yeah, exactly. Don't know who she is, and it's supposed to be the final. The final one.
The final.
That's what they're saying. It's the
They paid $5 billion. There's no final of anything.
What's the end of the Skywalker family saga? Right?
Yeah, it's the end of the Skywalker series. Now they're going to go off and do other things.
How about we put money on the table now? I will hear about Skywalker again after this movie.
Oh yeah, there'll be
I will
one
hear
or
about
two
Darth
movies.
Vader again after this movie. The last thing they're going to do is, guess what? We paid $5 billion for this. Screw this. We're just going to create new characters that you're not going to give a crap about, like the ones we put in these movies.
It'll be one of these down the road in a movie or two where it'll be like, wait a minute, he's a Skywalker.
Hey, do we know how
out.
Darth Vader started yet? Or like
yeah.
That
he
was the prequels.
Oh, that's Anakin.
The whole idea is Yoda screwed up and he went over to the dark side.
Okay.
I mean, basically, but I was listening to somebody who's God, I forgot what his name is. Freddie Prinze Jr. Freddie Prinze is a huge Star Wars fan.
Okay.
Huge Star Wars. So he's talking, I mean, he's gotten into it. He's talked to Lucas. He's talked to the people around Lucas. He knows it all. So he will literally go on a show and just out nerd everybody on the show, which I really love because some celebrities are BS guys. Oh, here's my lightsaber. You don't know shit. What I love best about this is he gets on, he goes, let me explain this. It's all BS. It's all BS. The Force is about being equal. There's bad and good, and it has to be equal. One gets stronger than the other. Darth Vader went the way that way because naturally it had to go that way because good was overpowering evil. The Force is about balance. And I go, really? So nobody's supposed to win? No. No, it's the status quo. It's like Congress. We want equal amount of Republicans, equal amount of Democrats, so they can't screw up the country. That things keep going the same way.
That might make some sense.
So that was an interesting. I didn't realize that. So one of the things I wanted with this show, because I felt bad last week because I beat up on Batman a little bit.
How?
Because we talked about him being a criminal and doing things.
Oh yeah. No, that was actually a good concept. Your thing was, if it weren't for Batman, maybe there would not be a Joker or a Riddler or any of the bad guys, and that Batman made those guys.
Yeah, and also he brings a 12-year-old into battle with him.
That's weird.
And they're shooting stuff.
Never thought of that until you brought it up.
Puts his kid on the line. That's definitely child abuse.
It's a child soldier, essentially.
I mean, that's the Casey Anthony issue you're having there.
But
we condemn that and realize
they're going to find this kid in the woods somewhere.
But Dick Grayson was like a part of the Flying Graysons. He was very agile. Almost kind of like Simone Biles now, right? Like how she's a
Simone is not going to go into crappy parts of LA and get shot at.
If you put a cape on Simone Biles, she could be a little superhero.
She can get shot.
Flippy flip she does.
She flippy flip. Bullets go faster than flippy flips.
She can flippy flip all the way from a bullet.
Well, you still got Robin. You thinking Robin's just believable?
Who?
Somehow Robin is more believable?
That Batman?
You said you can't make her a superhero, throw a cape on her, but that's all Robin is. He's a little flip boy.
Yeah.
I agree with you. A 12-year-old should not be fighting crime.
Oh,
That's my argument.
Yeah, I could take on 5 12-year-olds right now.
I would let Simone Biles fight crime. I think she could do it.
My daughter's 13. I would whoop her ass. It wouldn't even be a question. I'd like screw her to the ground. She knows this death grip.
Yeah.
Well, look, all I know is I'm excited about all the news I'm seeing about this new the Batman movie.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Pattinson. At first, I wasn't for it. Now I'm going, okay, he's doing all the proper work. He's training with the right people, the same people that trained Keanu Reeves for what is it called? John Wick. He's training with them, and he's going to get beefed up. So I think he's going to be fine. And all the other people that are going to be in this movie, Penguin is going to be God, what was his name? The Bullseye. He was Bullseye in Daredevil.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, yeah.
He's going to be. I wonder. I've heard him try to do an American accent every once in a while. Is he going to have an American accent, or he's going to be Irish?
He's got to be. If he's a penguin, he's got to be. Well,
Penguin's American. He's a New Yorker.
Yeah, he's a New Yorker.
Well, it's Gotham. They argue whether it's New York or Chicago.
But I think it's supposed to be Chicago. But but he'll probably get rid of the accent for that. And so you're gonna have Catwoman, you're gonna have Penguin, and you're gonna have Riddler, but no Joker. I wonder why.
Well, because they burnt him out last movie.
Oh,
I mean, you already had. They can't do it again. They're going to do it, but eventually, not soon.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do what we call. I'm going to turn this away from you.
Okay. I can't see from there anyway. But go.
Well, I know. I'm just checking because I hate if you look down and concentrate and go, I got this.
Blind as a bat.
All right, we're going to do a little Batman trivia.
Okay.
So everyone, put on their Batman hats.
All right.
A lot of it's comic
this.
books, a lot of it's real, and I'm going to start off with an easy one. What were the names of Bruce Wayne's parents?
That was Martha and Thomas Wayne.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who is credited with creating Batman?
Well, it's not Bill Finger, but he was the one. The credit is Bob Kane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And do you know what the first Batman comic was?
It was Detective Comics. I don't know what number. But
Number 27.
27. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now here's gonna what Batman villain worked as a zoologist?
Poison Ivy. No.
Mm-mm. That's one. It's one that we don't hear about that often. Is a zoologist.
A zoologist. So think of something that could possibly turn into an animal.
I mean a Catwoman possibly, but
Man-Bat.
oh man, Bat.
Man-Bat.
Okay, yeah. That's from
All
the
right.
70s. Yeah.
Now
that's
we know
70s
that
comic
Batman
books,
was
okay.
introduced in 1939.
Yeah.
When was Robin introduced?
41 or 42.
1940, and it was Detective Comics number 38.
Okay.
And for those who don't know a lot about comic books, if Detective Comic Books number 27 and it's a monthly book, how long did it take for Robin, which was about 11 issues?
Oh wow.
So 11 issues
So
later.
He was there pretty quick.
Yeah, within the first year of the book being put out.
Yeah. And what I found out by watching that documentary that you turned me on to is the reason they popped up with a Robin is because all the Shazam or Captain Marvel stuff, they had like little kids, and they're like, oh, now you got to have a little kid sidekick, and they kind of stole the idea from Captain Marvel.
Okay, out of all the Batman villains,
Okay,
who is the oldest Batman villain? Meaning who was first introduced? Catwoman, Penguin, Riddler, or Mr. Freeze?
it's either going to be Catwoman or Penguin. I'm going to say Penguin.
Catwoman, 1940 spring.
Okay.
Penguin, 1941. Riddler, it took him 7 years.
Okay.
1948. And Mr. Freeze, believe it or not, was like 20 years later, 1959.
And 59. Okay. So Catwoman was first?
Yep.
Catwoman. Okay.
Catwoman was first.
Okay.
Now, Alfred the Butler.
Yes.
Now they've changed, when they use a character name, sometimes halfway through they realize that's a really stupid name.
Right.
So what do you think Alfred's original name was? His original name wasn't Pennyworth.
No.
It was
oh geez. I've seen this before, but I can't remember it.
like who would come up with this name? This is just a lazy writing.
Yeah.
Alfred Beagle was his first name.
Beagle. Okay.
And they go, wait, Beagle doesn't sound English enough. Pennyworth.
Pennyworth.
They made him uppity with Pennyworth.
Yeah.
Okay. Who was the daughter in a separate Earth? It's Earth 2, daughter of Batman and Catwoman when they have a kid. I'll give you a hint. It's on Birds of Prey. It's a character from Birds of Prey.
The daughter of Batman
and Catwoman.
I don't know.
The Huntress.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Little Huntress. I know it's a little tough for you.
That's okay. That's right.
Okay. Which of the following characters did Bruce Wayne have a son with?
Mm-hmm.
Now we've talked about it, and who is this? And you have to know his son is Damian.
Yeah, it's Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
Exactly.
Yeah,
his daughter was Talia.
Yeah.
So Batman has a son. For those who are wondering, who don't see the movies and they're not used to it, that the third Robin is his son.
He becomes Robin as Damian, right?
Right after Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Okay. What writer first referred to Batman as the Dark Knight?
Oh, Frank. Was it Frank? What's the last name?
It's Miller.
Frank Miller.
But he wrote the book, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
But he did. The first one was actually Bill Fingerman when they did Batman #1, called him The Dark Knight.
Did he really?
Yep.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Okay.
Now, which Batman supporting character was the first one to ever appear in a comic book other than Batman?
Say it again.
Any character other than Batman. Okay.
Okay.
Which character was the first supporting character to show up in a Batman comic book? It could be a villain. It could be a sidekick.
Well, I don't understand the question. Hold on. The first
Okay. The other outside of Batman, what was the second character introduced in the Batman series? If the comic book, if Detective 27 was the first comic book, who was the first character other than Batman introduced in that book?
The Joker.
Believe it or not, it was Commissioner Gordon.
Oh.
In panel 1.
Okay.
He got the first shot in the first panel.
You got me. Okay, good.
Yeah. So
but then Joker would be after that, right?
He wasn't in the first book.
No, he
wasn't in the first book.
Third or second. Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting because normally they think of him as somebody else's villain.
Oh, I like this.
What Batman villain was murdered and thrown into Slaughter Swamp?
Oh, that's Solomon Grundy.
Exactly. Most people didn't realize he was a Batman villain, not a Superman villain.
Yeah.
So some of this stuff, when you look at, you're like, oh, this is good. Some of this is fun. Some of this is not.
I'm batting pretty good. This is fun.
Yeah.
Do you know any of these, Ryan, or no?
No.
I actually took the quiz. It was online, and I was
good.
like
I
going
like
through
this.
it.
Okay.
I was going, do I know this? What superpower does the Joker have?
He doesn't have any superpowers.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That is why that villain matches up perfectly with Batman.
That's a trick question.
Yeah, it's a lot of people think that the chemicals he went in, all the chemicals did was change the color of his skin.
Right.
So I mean, that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, this is good.
Batman introduced a sidekick,
Okay.
and the character's name was Mogo.
Mogo.
What was Mogo?
Mogo. It wasn't a dog. Then there was Batmite. That was stupid. Mogo. What was Mogo? What the hell was a monkey? A monkey.
Exactly. Mogo was a circus ape that fought alongside of Batman.
That's right.
What?
Is that crazy?
Mogo the monkey.
He had a circus.
I remember
monkey.
that. Yeah. Okay. That's
So I thought that was kind of funny. I mean,
that's why I love Batman.
I guess so. He had a monkey.
Yeah, he had a monkey.
He had a monkey. When you think of this stuff,
An attack monkey is much better than an attack 12-year-old boy.
He had a dog too.
Bat dog?
Bat hound. Bat hound.
Ace.
Ace. Right?
Ace was the name of the
And that's where Ace Frehley got his.
Yep.
No, he's not.
I'm kidding.
No.
Okay.
His original name was Mogo.
Mogo.
Mogo Freely.
Mogo Frehley.
The thing about the Penguin, even though the Penguin came off as a not cool character,
Yeah, he was a fat.
the fact is that Penguin was probably the coolest villain they had.
Why do you say that?
Well, because he had style. He owned a
dressed
nightclub. He owned, and the question is, Penguin always had the best club in town, and everybody always wanted to go to his place.
And he always wanted to be mayor. Like his thing is,
he was mayor.
Yeah, he became mayor of Gotham City. Yeah,
He became mayor. I mean, he was the smartest of all the villains in the sense that he ran businesses. He was out in the open. Everyone else had to hide. The Riddler had to hide. The Joker had to hide. Not the Penguin. The Penguin's sitting in his club going, "How you guys doing?" Giving the finger to Batman every time he wanted to.
I'm really curious how what's his name again? That's going to play Penguin. How he's going to do it? What's his name? Colin Farrell. Man, I mean, obviously,
you said Colin Firth. I'm going, that's not right.
Colin Farrell. Yeah, he's got
a romantic comedy.
I guess he'll be the skinny version. Just like it was.
I don't want him to screw with his nose. I don't want this weird nose they put on it.
Yeah.
Because I think it could be distracting. That's the one thing about the Penguin. The Penguin was the only villain he had that was really out in the open, other than the psychiatrist, Dr. Hugo Strange.
That's right.
Who worked at Arkham. This is a tough question. What is Penguin's nightclub called? It stayed the same way for 75 years.
I don't know.
The Iceberg Lounge.
I like that.
The Iceberg Lounge. I mean, that's the funny thing when you
they never did that in the Batman TV show, and also or in Gotham they didn't have. I guess he did have a club at Gotham TV show for a little while. Yeah.
Which one? The Penguin?
Yeah.
The Penguin was smooth. I mean, they always played him as like, even Burgess Meredith. They just went, but he owned a club. I mean, he was a cool dude. Come on. He had the most popular club in town. Everybody wanted to go. And he stood at the had a table at the end, and everyone's looking at him.
Burgess Meredith did a great job at that, though. I thought he was great as Penguin.
Okay, here's the one.
Okay. I'm doing good.
There was a movie produced. Andy Warhol, believe it or not, produced a Batman movie.
Wow.
That very few people called. And what is the title to Andy Warhol's 1964 Batman movie?
Well, I've seen it. It just says Batman.
Batman Dracula.
No.
I'm telling you. He put out this movie. Nobody saw it.
Oh, I've never seen that. Okay, yeah.
Andy Warhol did his own Batman movie because he was such a big fan of it, but nobody's seen it. Every once in a while, you'll see it on DVD. I've never seen it. I would love to see how quirky this film could actually be.
Batman Dracula?
Batman Dracula.
So it's Batman versus Dracula?
Yeah. I've never seen it. Without the permission of DC Comics. He made the film.
Okay.
Was screened only.
Film.
It was screened at his exhibits. But back in '64, to put money into a movie, but he never got DC's permission.
So if it was '64, it was before the TV series.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. No, 1960. I don't know. 1960s was the show, so I'd have to check out the exact date. Ryan can give us the look when the first episode came out.
The first show came out in '66.
I mean, that's one of these. We got who killed Batman's parents?
Well, Joe Chill, but
There you go.
Yeah.
Just stick with that one.
Okay.
Don't let anybody screw with your origin.
There's so many other, they think it was the Joker, they think it was, but it was Joe Chill in the comic book.
Even in the Joker version, it's not the Joker.
Right.
It's just some random criminal, and
Right.
that was the idea. The idea, he wasn't killed by this super criminal. He was killed by some guy who was just robbing him in an alley.
But in the Batman movie with Michael Keaton, they made it the Joker is the one that, you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight, that.
I mean, that's kind of the nonsense because people wanted you to hate the character more.
Yeah.
But you killed Batman's parents.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the Joker, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when you see the Joker and you see, for example, that scene where he sticks his fingers in Bruce Wayne's mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how those are moments.
It's a good movie. It's not my favorite, but it's a good movie.
Remember 10 things from that movie. Could you give me 10?
Oh, let's see here. Well, like you just said with the mouth, you remember? Yeah, I could probably give you 10.
Give me some of them.
Okay, then you got the scene when he kills the guy in the apartment room. You got the scene in the subway, dancing on the stairs. You got you got the scene at the end with the where he shoots the guy who's the talk show host, and when he goes to the stand-up comedy. I mean, there's just a bunch of stuff from it.
Okay, how many movies do you think you can do that with? If you
Not
really
a
think
lot.
about it. So this movie obviously there were so many memorable moments in it. And when I asked myself this question, I walked out of there and I was going, God, how good a movie was that?
Yeah.
And the questions kept coming to me over and over again. How good is this movie? And as I was riding the bike home, and I was thinking, it's like, wow, and all these scenes I'm going over in my head. I go, I don't do that when I walk out of a movie.
That's a good point.
So how great does a movie have to be when you actually remember, retain, and question all the things that you've seen?
I remember saying, I don't want to see that again, but now I'm sitting here going, I probably want to see it again so I can reevaluate the thought process,
I got it to my buddy Jamie Orakis he just left DC about 6 months ago.
Mhm.
You met Jamie.
Yeah.
Jamie's a great guy. He's now Jeff Johns #2 over at Jeff's company. Jeff Johns is every time you see the end of a DC something, it says produced by Jeff Johns will be one of those names.
Yeah.
I was asking about Joker and he was really upset about it.
Why?
He was going, Jeff, it bothered me. I think it does this, it does this, it does this. I said, Jamie, what do you think it is? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, come on, it was a joke. It's a big joke, and you're actually paying for the joke. You're discussing it. You have issues with this movie about this fake character.
When you say it's a joke,
a fake character,
you have this theory that the movie that you're watching was written by the Joker's perspective to try to make people feel sorry for him.
What they were doing, it's an origin story where it justifies his actions.
Yeah,
and I think it wanted to parallel Batman. His abuse as a kid, that because of what happened as a kid made him this way, and now the city loves him, and he's really the vigilante in the city. He's not he's not a villain.
But in order, now this movie is too high in acclaim to do anything else with it. But in order for it to really pay off, you need to have the exact same story on the other side with Bruce Wayne, and you need to, as gritty as this one is, and have him grow up and see how he gets to where he is, and then a third movie to have them battle each other. That would make it awesome, but they will never do it because now it's Oscar material, so it would almost be blaspheme to do that.
Well, I want to segue into this next topic. What do we got? We got a couple.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Okay. How much money do you think they spent on the Joker?
Oh, not very much.
Like 40 to 50 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, and that includes his salary.
Yeah,
that includes,
and it's made about $1 billion.
Okay, it's like $957 million right now.
Right,
it's a little short of $1 billion.
But this movie that we're about to get, the Batman movie, it's not going to be the answer to this Joker movie.
They're written by two different guys. It's not an answer. But I think
it won't be even in the same world. It won't be as gritty, will it?
I think DC Comics, after seeing how the Joker is, it did. I think they're going to give the director a little more leeway to do some darker things than they normally do, because nothing is worse than when a Hollywood douchebag comes over the top of a director and tells him what they should be doing. I want to put my fingerprint on something. I want to put my stamp on it, whatever. And it winds up too many chefs in the kitchen because everybody wants to take credit for something. So I wanted to just explain some of the money, because I wanted to go over some of the movies and what they spent. Joker spent about $40 to $50 million.
Okay.
It's done $957 million, which is a return of almost 20 to 1.
Yeah.
which no movie we have seen other than Blair Witch has done numbers like that.
So how does that compare to the last Avengers movie?
Well, let's just go over some of them to give you an idea. Avengers, believe it or not, this is ridiculous. Avengers: Age of Ultron cost about $400 million to make, including marketing.
So DC wins this battle.
DC is going to win the.
Finally, DC wins a battle.
How much?
But then again,
But Marvel made $1 billion.
Justice League cost $300 million and brought in about 230 domestically.
I gotta tell you, I love Justice League and I love Batman versus Superman. I love both those movies.
I mean, when you think about the movie, for example, the Spider-Man movie in 2000, Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi with the Venom and everything, that was $258 million to make.
And how much did it make? How much did it bring in?
Domestically, $336 million.
Yeah.
So it only broke even by about $100 million. Batman, Superman, your Dawn of Justice.
I love that one.
$250 million.
How much did it make?
$330.
That's it?
Yep.
It only made $330 million.
Not worldwide. I'm talking domestically.
Domestically, okay.
Yeah. But when you look at these figures, you're going, okay, what did they spend? And that's why the international market is so much. Like Man of Steel, you remember the one with it was Henry Cavill, the one where they were it was Zack Snyder, was a Man of Steel. $225 million. It barely broke even by $60 million in the States.
That wasn't who played Lex Luthor in that one? Not the creepy guy that just from
Facebook movie.
He was the one? Okay.
Yeah, I mean it was Michael Shannon, I think, who was one of the characters. Amy Adams was in it. But I mean, when you start looking at the numbers and you're going, God, I went through like Black Panther. Black Panther cost $200 million, grossed $700 million domestically.
Pretty good, yeah.
That's 3.5 times the money. And that,
are we going to see another Black Panther movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. There's going to be a remake of that. And we were talking about guys who, the famous Martin Scorsese, these guys who are going that superheroes are
the superhero movies
are theme park rides.
Yeah, and I understand. I see from his perspective.
What is a spaghetti western then? What is a gangster movie?
Yeah,
it's always it's gangster movies. Very rarely are anything outside of Italian guys in Brooklyn griping about
Jeff,
we're going to off this guy while they're eating pasta.
These are old guys that always were taught that comic books were trash and comic books were jokes, and so that's the world he comes from. But after Bob Iger snapped him back into place, he kind of came back and said, well, he kind of changed his tune,
I mean, when you're thinking about the heads of the industry, guys who run this stuff, I think what happened was he didn't realize how many people were going to take him out. These guys aren't used to getting their heads handed to them. They're used to be treated like royalty.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the genius, everything else. And suddenly 3 million Facebook and Twitter followers are killing them.
Right.
Going, hey, listen, scumbag, don't piss on something we love.
Yeah.
And I think that's just who we are and what we're trying to enjoy. When we talk about the money being spent, do I think that you could do a Batman movie without all the effects? I mean, I watched Terminator. They spent over, I think it was $150 million to make that movie.
I totally think you can make a great Batman movie without all the effects. You can make it like you've made the Joker. You don't have to have a bunch of flying. I mean,
Daredevil.
Or Daredevil. Yeah. I think you could.
Now, I forgot. Did you ever see Deadpool? I forgot. You didn't see Deadpool.
Yeah.
Okay. Deadpool, the original Deadpool, was made on a shoestring.
Mm-hmm.
Fact is that to keep the screenwriters on set, Ryan Reynolds had to pay because they didn't have the money.
Yeah.
He paid their salaries so they could be on the set all day long instead of not being there because they didn't have the money. They didn't have enough money for weapons. There's a scene in Deadpool where he shows up in the cab to fight the villain, and leaves his weapons in the car.
Yeah, right.
And they left the weapons in the car to save money. It wasn't meant to be this way. So when you write
they wrote it that way. So
they couldn't afford the cost of shooting bullets.
Oh, I see.
The effects that would cut, they saved themselves, millions of dollars in effects on the action scene.
That's funny
by doing it that way. And there's got to be some kind of balance because right now we're talking about all the streaming services coming out, and they can only pay so much for a show. They'll spend all their money on a Lord of the Rings, for example, and might only have 1/100th of a budget to do another superhero thing.
So, okay, when you're sitting home by yourself, let's say the wife is out, kids aren't there, you can watch whatever.
Hey, what I do in the privacy of my own home.
No, you can watch whatever comic book movie you want. What's your go-to?
Oh, God.
You're next, Ryan, so be ready to answer.
God, I'm guilty. I like I'll go in and start going after. I go to Netflix,
Yeah.
and I'll watch some of the shows that I like. Like you don't like the show, but Mary Ellen, your wife, loves it. Like I'll go to a Supernatural episode.
Well, I mean, like comic book movie. If you ever pick a comic book movie,
If I had to go,
and you can watch whatever one you want, you got the whole place to yourself. You get some popcorn, just you and your favorite comic book movie. It would be.
if I'd see Captain America 1,
Captain
the first
America 1.
Captain America.
I'm gonna have to do that again. Then.
I thought that was iconic. I thought that Captain America. I thought Chris Evans played that role perfectly, and it was a great origin story, and it was great to show this character grow. While a lot of people, oh no, I got powers. What am I going to do? This character didn't change.
Yeah,
he was always a scrappy person, but they put him in another body, and he was still that guy.
Well,
like Peter Parker was this wuss who suddenly becomes a wise ass.
right.
And
well, because of your suggestion, I'm going to do that because I get stuck doing the same thing, and I'm always end up watching the same two movies. It's either Batman versus Superman or it's Justice League. I love both those movies. What about you, Ryan? If you're home by yourself, you watch a comic book movie. Which one do you go to?
I guess the Marvel version of the Batman vs Superman, which is Captain America: Civil War.
Civil
really
War.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that one too. I like that one. That's good. That
Civil
is good.
War to me.
But I haven't seen Captain America 1 in a long time, so I should revisit that.
I thought, people talk about Civil War, and it was very hard because they have so many characters they're throwing at you. It's hard to develop a relationship. Like Iron Man's so upset they killed my parents, and Captain America's like, well, I didn't tell you because I knew you'd be upset. And Captain America would never hold back the truth from a friend. There were problems with that movie that I looked at and I saw who he was. He goes, well, I didn't want you to be mad at Bucky. That's not the way he would have done it.
Some of those, you go back to I went back to the first Thor to try to watch it. I'm like, oh man, he doesn't become Thor until the very end. I don't really want to sit through all this.
You need him in costume. I know you.
Yeah, I need him in costume for it to be any good. I've gone back and watched Aquaman.
The second Thor is really good though.
See, second Thor because he's already Thor.
Yeah.
But I don't want the whole build up. Same thing with Aquaman. It's like, oh come on, he doesn't become Aquaman till the very end of this. So I get frustrated with some of those because I want to see the character.
Well, Doctor Strange is probably that way for you too. If you ever saw Doctor Strange,
I bought
you get
it.
bummed because
I bought it, but you gotta sit so long for him to become Doctor Strange.
That's the tough thing with origin stories. Sometimes you need to wait. It's a slow burn.
That's why I don't like Spider. Every time they reboot Spider-Man, I'm like, I gotta sit through this where he's not Spider-Man again.
Exactly. I did that. I bought that Spider-Man, the one with that second kid, the big long
Andrew Garfield.
And I'm like, oh man, we gotta sit through the origin story again.
But do you notice the difference between him and the new kid?
I like the new kid a lot. He's younger.
The new kid, you could watch him outside of Spider-Man, and he's entertaining.
Yes.
Andrew Garfield was not entertaining as Peter Parker. He was a little too cool. I was like, wait a minute.
You're right.
And that's the one thing I like about the new actor.
But Mary Jane was hot though.
They always do this to you. They go, okay, this Mary Jane is better looking, or this one and this one. And you go, okay, we'll get a decent looking redhead.
Emma Stone. Oh, come on. She's hot.
Yeah. Emma Stone is a good looking woman.
Yeah.
Good looking woman. I mean, but I wasn't fond of the one before it. What was her name?
Oh my God! Not Reese Witherspoon. Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst always looked like she was upset. There are some actresses that have the anger face.
Yeah,
like something always is going bad with them. It's like the woman from Twilight. The same thing. Like somebody put a piece of poo on their lip and they're smelling it all the time.
The one that's Kristen Stewart, right? Who's going to be in this new? I swear to gosh, I hope that the Charlie's Angel thing flops so big.
It's a shame because I like the actress who produced it as Banks.
Yeah, but then of course they had to make Charlie's a girl, and they got to change it all up, and I don't know. It just looks stupid.
This was bothered me. The new Magnum, for example.
Yeah.
I'm a Tom Selleck fan. The new Magnum is so boring. It just feels like they're keeping it on. They air it and I don't watch it. And I have a feeling they're just putting it out there. They recast the actor. He's not this guy and he's not this dude anymore. Mm-hmm. He's this dude because they tell you he's a dude. He doesn't look like a dude. He's not like, like a 6'5", good looking dude who's lazy and all this stuff. And that was the fun thing about Tom Selleck playing Thomas Magnum. That was a great character. Well, the same guy who screwed up Magnum is the one who's doing the female version of Zorro.
Yeah.
And I would like to say from this crappy show comes this crappy show.
Right.
Nothing is worse. I think when they think just because you recognize the name, you're going to forget that it's a crappy show.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, the new MacGyver. I assume there's an audience of people who just get stuck to it. Was like the Big Bang. in a way. The Big Bang, the last 10 years of the Big Bang wasn't funny. It was the same BS episode over and over and over again. You're like NCIS is the same way now.
Yeah.
NCIS, you're just
it
used
makes
to the way it
them
works.
so much money. They don't. Why change the formula if it's making them money?
I guess I don't know if they're good shows. Like
all of CBS's shows are like that for me, though. Anytime I watch CBS, I'm like, all right.
I agree.
Yeah, it's not funny. It's like Two Broke Girls, same joke over and over again. Big Bang, same joke over and over again. All of this, and it's like nothing.
Does America just want to know the joke before it's said? I think that's part of it because the jokes are so easy and stupid.
Yeah.
They want people to get them before the actor says it, so they can expect.
I think they're just lazy. I mean, like I rewatch The Office all the time, and I've seen every episode. Every now and then they get me on something. I'm like, I didn't even see that coming. That's funny.
Oh come on! Some of the Jim jokes were the best.
Yeah,
where he wraps the guy's desk and there's nothing in it.
Or
the wire that it goes to nowhere.
And they got to the point of a little bit of lazy writing towards the end too. But like, it just seems like with those big CBS shows that are like number one, bigger numbers than the Super Bowl. It's like, this is lazy, right? Like,
you know what I'm beginning to figure out? I'm beginning to figure out that the way that the quality of a show has nothing to do with its actual how well the show does. Because I was looking at this. Rotten Tomatoes has reviewed the top 100 superhero cartoon actual show and live action shows.
Right.
And they did 1 through 100. And I was reading through this thing, and this is what geeky people do. We need to know, even though this is the most arbitrary thing in the world that thousands of people click like or not like. And it was so strange to see what they considered the top 10 shows. And one of them is Supergirl.
Is it any good? I never watched it.
No.
I tried watching Batwoman, and I don't like Batwoman.
No,
either.
it is the most, and I think people will just click on, oh yeah, I love this show. And the top show, believe it or not, is actually probably the one that was the most well done, which is Batman the Animated Series.
Okay, I can see
which
that.
was 5 seasons of really Bruce Timm writing really great. The animation was fantastic, and you're going, okay. But then right before that is Flash.
Oh yeah, that's
And I'm going, Flash is fun. But is Flash one of the best shows?
no.
Jessica Jones before that, Arrow before that. Then they have X-Men, the cartoon from 1992.
It's one of the greatest masterpieces of all superheroes ever. I'm sorry, is that number one?
But it's a shame they had to steal the song.
I will. No, I've read that recently.
Have you seen it though?
I would actually say, and I'm not a Batman guy. I would say Batman the Animated Series over X-Men, but just by a little bit.
See, I haven't even watched Batman the Animated Series.
It's good
because I'm like, well,
you can watch it as an adult. It's
you can,
good. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna try it. All right, listen, we got to run out of here. You got more or no?
No, we're good.
Okay, if you need to get a hold of Jeff,
I always have more.
If you need to get hold of Jeff Kaufman for anything legal wise, it's whenyouneedus.com. That's whenyouneedus.com. And for the comic books, anything with Big City Comics, just go to bigcitycomics.com. Thursday night, you're going to be at
Babalu's Barbecue and a Popka from 6 to 8 o'clock.
You banned?
I've been banned.
Jeff's not coming. He's never coming again. He's
I'd
done.
come, but I show up and Ryan looks over and goes, "Ah, crap."
Yeah, so come out to Babalu's in Apopka. It's on the corner of Welsh and I don't know what that road is. Rock Springs Road. There we go.
There's somebody in Austin listening to this in the truck, and where the hell is a pop?
Yeah, I know.
Shut up, guy in truck.
Thanks for listening to our stuff.
And welcome to my nonsense.
There you go. Sure.